doesn't matter if you're a big brand, a small brand. Moments are more powerful than marketing. Once you have an intention, you have a mission statement, that's not enough. You engineer the foundation of that statement. We are living with a new currency in marketing, and that is emotional resonance. I'm passionate about many things. In my professional life, I'm passionate about creativity, marketing, and neuroscience. So let's start with neuroscience, and then you will understand why that topic is relevant for this conversation. We all have one area of our brain here in the back. There is the reticular activating system. We all have it. It's right between the spinal cord and the brain. That area is one of the most important areas of the brain. You know why? Because it filters the information that we get into our brain. Put it this way. We receive every day thousands, to be exact, about 14,000 messages, emails, texts, advertising. If we're scrolling, even more. But we receive millions of signals, logos, sounds, experiences, sensorial experiences, and we can only process about 40 or 50. So the reticular activating system just pick what 40 or 50 we're going to actually have in our conscious brain. Everything else is going to the subconscious brain. Why this is crucial? Because those 40 or 50 is what shapes our reality. We heard before, feel how they feel or see how they see it. Everybody has a different reality. We all live in our own matrix based on what our brain filters. So what happened is that we all, and I want to believe that the best marketers, the best leaders, the best business owners, we are all have to be watching for those signals. What are the signals of the present? What are the signals of the present, the sensations, what we observe in the world that is going to give us a very clear understanding of the future before the future happens. That's how we stay ahead in our businesses, in marketing, in our industries. So when I was in corporate America, about 30 years, worked for American Airlines, led the marketing for avocado from Mexico for almost a decade. I was always looking for some signals so I can predict the future in marketing and do things before anybody else do those things. That kept the company being innovative all the time. I saw, for example, when Barbie, an iconic toy, launched a movie. What they want to launch a movie is a toy. And then you realize that they want to humanize that brand to the point that when the girls play or boys play with the toy, they actually connect with the humanity of that toy. And then we see how luxury retail brands like Gucci or Armani are creating cafes and restaurants in the stores, but they sell products. Yes, but they want their customers to feel like $1 million with smells and culinary experiences before they buy a $3,000 bag. So all that, when we look at the world with curiosity and observe those kind of signals, at some point it clicked. At some point when you least expect it, it's going to click. But in order for your brain to process, you have to intentionally want to understand those signals. So a big aha moment came to me with a huge insight. A few months ago, after I left corporate America, I'm having dinner with a client in a high-end restaurant in Dallas that I do marketing for. is the Mexican, and I'm having dinner with one of the partners. He stand up to go, excuse himself, go to the restroom, and I do what we all do when we are left alone, right? I grab my phone and just look at my phone. And in that moment, I saw in my peripheral vision like something that was happening here, very silent, like a shadow. And all of a sudden, when I looked, his napkin was perfectly folded, like nobody was in that spot. And because I'm observing those signals, it caught my attention. It's supposed not to caught my attention, and it was so well done that almost did it. When he comes back, I ask, do you guys do that for everybody, or that was just for you? I saw that somebody came, I barely see that person fold your napkin. He smiled and he said yes, and we got that from like Michelin star restaurants. We don't do that, even though it's a high-end restaurant. We don't do that in this level of restaurants, but we do it because one of our pillars is the exceptional hospitality and service. So we are creating those moments. And those moments, in that moment, everything clicked. Everything that I have been observing in the world, everything clicked, and it changed the perception that I had of my profession that I have been building for 30 years. Moments are more powerful than marketing. Let that sink in. Moments are more powerful than marketing. And all of a sudden, marketing becomes just the foundation of those moments and the amplification of those moments. Many brands have understood that, and they are practicing very, very well. How many of you have gone to Chick-fil-A ever? We all love Chick-fil-A. I live around Coppell, and in the group, every time that there's a construction, people say, maybe it's now a Chick-fil-A. So, we love a Chick-fil-A, and what happened is they know this the same way that the Mexican knew it. And I'm telling you this because it has nothing to do with the type of business that we are in. In that silent, invisible moment, the Mexican tells their customers, you matter here. We notice you. You're being taken care of. And Chick-fil-A says that every single time. Next time you go, pay attention to the signals and see how many times you heard that word, my pleasure. Can you please refill my soda? My pleasure. Can you please take my tray? My pleasure. Is there any available table? Here, my pleasure. Pay attention to that. That's very, very, very intentional. Chick-fil-A actually train their employees. The other day I was talking to someone that is leading marketing for a retail company that has nothing to do with that. And they were telling me that they seek after Chick-fil-A employees, unfortunately, or ex-employees, but also employees to steal them, because the customer service that they have educated to give that kind of customer service. We have also Disney, that Summer explains so well. But looking from the same perspective, Summer talks about magic. But the truth is that the mission statement of Disney is to create happiness. And you may think, oh, it's a park, it's a vacational park mostly. Every attraction is full of happiness and shows, and everything is so rehearsed and beautiful, and people is in vacation, but that's not enough. They really engineer the foundations of happiness. They create those pillars that support that happiness. For example, one of their pillars is safety. They intentionally train all the employees for safety. If you notice it with curiosity and intentionally, you will see everyone, how they keep everyone aside when the parade is coming, how they are very, very aware of what everybody is doing everywhere. Another pillar is show. yes, of course, they have shows, they have all these attractions, but it goes beyond that. Even the employees that are in the rides, the employees that are cleaning the streets, if any person has an interaction with any of those employees, they are going to make a show because it is all about making people happiness. So the message here is, once you have an intention, you have a mission statement, that's not enough. You engineer the foundation of that statement. All this is supporting the most important message of this part, which is that we are living with a new currency in marketing, and that is emotional resonance. So as a marketers, we have been listening for years about relevancy. Relevancy. Even I have the opportunity and the privilege to work on 9 Super Bowl spots for avocado from Mexico. And it was about how we can, spending this money that we're spending, how we can make it extremely relevant. But you know what? Relevance gives you the attention of the consumer. Yes, it is very, very important, because in a time where everybody's scrolling all day and you just want them to stop for a second and see the content that I'm creating, relevance is important, but relevance is going to give you the attention, but the loyalty is not going to come from relevance. The loyalty is going to come from emotional resonance. So now, what is emotional resonance is, going back, that's why I opened this conversation with the function of the brain. What is emotional relevance? Make it among those 40 or 50 stimulus that the brain is going to filter. And in order to do that, you have to really know your consumers. So as I'm speaking here, think about each of your companies, and think about your consumers, and think about your customers, your clients, the ones that visit your company, what they care about, what take their sleep away at night. And that way you can really create strategies that delivers emotional resonance. I have also was lucky to meet in person Baba Schiff, who is a professor of the Stanford University. Again, thanks to the generosity of my former employee, we went and spent a week there in a program. And I got to listen to Baba. He's specializes in neuroscience and behavioral psychology applied to marketing. And he said something that really struck with me and changed the way I think about marketing, or at least the way I build messages for the consumers. We have two brains. We have the slow brain and the fast brain, the unconscious brain and the conscious brain. The conscious brain, we only use it 5% of the time. 5% of the decisions that you make come from the conscious mind. 95% come from the unconscious mind. Now you ask, well, how is that? I make decision thinking about it. I think about it. You think after you make the decision. So we make decisions with the unconscious mind, those that resonate with us emotionally, and then we justify those with the conscious mind. By the time that the conscious mind realizes that you're making a decision, you already made it. You're just sustaining the decision that you made. That's very, very important. It is to sustain the idea that you really need to connect, not with the characteristics of your product, not because your product is great, your service is amazing, your company, yes, that all is important, but it's not going to get you the loyalty of the consumers. Someone that did it masterfully was told. And it is really, really hard to deliver emotional resonance in a mass market. You can do it on a one-on-one experience. In mass market, extremely difficult. How you can create emotional resonance with millions of consumers? How do you know what they really, really deeply care? So what they did a global story. And what they found out is that only 2% of women consider themselves beautiful, which is unbelievable. Only 2%. But not only that, From those 2%, a very high percent don't feel beautiful all the time. So they realized there's a problem with female self-esteem, and they not only wanted to sell soaps, they could have said, this soap it smells delicious, it leaves your skin very soft, like the typical soap advertising. They really rewrote the narrative about self-esteem. And they launched this in 2004, and it became one of the most iconic and transformational campaigns in modern marketing industry. They started using normal women for their advertising. They were like using models. They really talk about that deep issues of female in how they feel and how they see themselves. And the campaign, super interesting. I recommend you to look at it and see everything that they did. But in a few years, they took the company from $2 billion company to $4 billion company, or $2.5 billion company to $4 billion company, without mentioning soap. Imagine that. That powerful is the emotional resonance. Starbucks. We all see and love about it because sometimes our names is not, it's like grossly spelled, and it became even a joke. But that's one of the smartest moves in marketing, because underneath that, there's a powerful neuroscience hack, which is, let's go back to that filter. The brain filter and give us the most important information. What do you think that is the most important word for every person? By far, your name. You can be in a room full of people and noise, and you hear your name all over there. I can listen. I can listen through the noise. So there's so many ways beyond having the typical email, hi Yvonne, this is whatever. There's so many ways. That we're used to that. We may take it for granted, or naming the Starbucks cups, but that's one of the most brilliant moves any brand has done to break through and connect with the consumers. So you may say here, like, yeah, right, but I'm not Unilever or Starbucks. And I love how Summer say, I don't have Mickey Mouse in my back pocket. So yes, that's true, but it's about, first of all, gaining trust so you can deliver that resonance. It's not only about, it doesn't have anything to do with the millions of dollars in your marketing budget. It starts with trust. So I'm going to give you a formula for anyone that doesn't have a Mickey Mouse in the back pocket. You create trust. Once you create trust, you can deliver a message. That message is going to stand out in the sea of other messages of other people that hasn't developed that trust. And then you're going to use marketing to amplify that message. So let's focus on trust for a little bit. Everybody knows this guy. Everybody knows this guy? Yeah. It's Walter Cronkite. I'm always afraid to mispronounce that. The point is that he was known as the most trustworthy man in America. He was an anchor, a TV anchor, and he delivered news like the moon landing, the assassination of Kennedy, all great news. And the trust, America trusts him. Now, this is the difference back and then. Let's fast forward to now. How many like him do you think there were at that time? Probably one, maybe two, maybe three. But the difference is that there hasn't been a better time to be a marketer than now. Not only a marketer because we all are marketers, we're business owners, we're marketing or businesses, we're leaders, we're marketing or companies. There was a never, ever a better time. Why? Because the information, the communication channels have been democratized. Why he was trustworthy? Because everybody saw his face. telling them what was going on and giving them the information over and over and over. Everything we knew, or they knew, I think I was not born back then, but everything they knew was delivered by the same person. Today, we have the opportunity that take our phones and give our messages to our consumers or clients or potential clients. And in fact, I don't know if you have noticed the signal. I'm noticing that for a long, long time. Go to LinkedIn. How was LinkedIn before? I'm so glad that I was promoted to BBS, whatever. Yay, congratulations. That's it. It's changing. The landscape of the professional networks is completely and drastically changing. Those are all CEOs of their own companies. That's not a high-level production. That's the guy with their phone. Just telling. One is, actually, this is a client of mine. He's in front of Walmart saying that he's the owner of the company, a company that has products in Walmart and Target. He's just happy because the products are in Walmart. We have Daniel Levensky, who is the former or the founder of Kind Bars, and now another line called Somos Foods, just talking about the like a thought leader, things that he believes in. You have Gary Vee, that you may all know, but the point is that we have the channel, and it's happening now. If we don't do it now, other brands or competitors are going to grab their phone, record a 30-second video, and are going to eat our lunch because they are building that trust with their consumer. They are humanizing their brand. This is another example. There's so many channels right now. There's about 5 million podcasts. We, as marketers, as business owners, we are investing in podcasts. Forget about that. I mean, you do it if you want it, but the most important thing is use those vehicles to communicate your story. That's, and again, another client of mine, we didn't think about it when we did that podcast. He was just telling his story. But he did something very organically. He started telling his story with this structure. What was the goal that he had in a specific case? What was a big problem that he encountered? And then how he resolved it. And I have 2 podcasts myself that I host, and I have never seen that kind of virality, and I couldn't understand. I said, what is with this video? And we start seeing the likes and the shares. To be completely honest, it was a little bit boosted because I want to get to 200,000 views, where it was like about 190,000. But that one 30-second clip of a conversation got him over 200,000 views, because people love those stories. Because the consumer is tired of seeing how great is your product and how great is your brand and how much better it is from everything else. They want to hear the raw story. They want to see your face. They want to hear from you. They want to see the human behind the product. So now let's give you a bonus 2 ideas that anyone can apply. And this is only 2 choose an examples. You can take your teams that knows your brand and your consumers and get many of those. But as an example, make every interaction feel personal. What do you give them? Give your consumers something that shows them, not something that is automatic. It's not an email with a name. It's something that shows your consumer that we know you, we care about you, we pay attention, and we take care of you. And then, for example, another idea, I haven't seen it, I don't think that nobody has ever done this, at least I haven't seen it, but what about reverse testimonials? We all love when a consumer leave a review in our website. Oh, that company is so great, I was so well taken care, etc., etc. Why don't you challenge your employees and yourself to pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention to the clues. Look at the world around you, your company, your customers with curiosity. And can you imagine that you can come and leave a message to someone? Let's say you have, I don't know, a restaurant, a store, and give them a message. Thank you for coming every week with your family, with your daughter, with your son. We really appreciate you are always laughing, always talking with each other. And we really admire your family. We appreciate you being part of our restaurant. Can you imagine? Give me chills to think about it. Can you imagine someone receiving that? That is a lot more powerful than an ad that says how great is your company and your place, you have a flavors of your food. Those are commodities. Those are commodities. You can differentiate from your competitors with real emotional connection when you understand what moves your consumers, and you understand because you're observing with curiosity and you let them know that you care. So I'm gonna give you with, I want you to learn this message because we are living in a world in marketing right now that every day there's a new thing. Every day. Now it's this, now it's a new platform. Now all the CEOs are taking their phone and talking to the camera. You know what is terrifying? The first time that you have to take your phone and get a video and hear your own voice. It's terrifying. And that's not it. It's never going to stop. It's going to happen over and over. And you know what is more terrifying than that? When you do it and then you post it on LinkedIn and you start waiting for the first like. Maybe nobody likes it. You're just praying. The first person that likes it is like, okay, you saved me. At least someone is validating my effort. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're not the center of the universe, but we need to start up. And what this I mean because nobody's waiting to see what we do next. And even though it's hard, the first one, we need to have the courage. We need to be brave to be bad at something that is new. If we don't have that courage, we're never ever going to stand out in a market that is more competitive every single day. And with technology and marketing that is evolving every single day. Now, you think that Mark Zuckerberg is powerful and have one of the most powerful transformational platforms ever created. And listen what he has to say.
Now, maybe you're thinking, I don't know how to build a dam. I don't know how to get 1 million people involved in anything. Well, let me tell you a secret. No one does when they begin. Ideas don't come out fully formed. They only become clear as you work on them. You just have to get started.
You just have to get started. Find a way, find hacks, find tricks. You just have to get started in order to learn, in order to move forward, in order to move your company forward, and in order to stand out ahead your competitors. Because it doesn't matter if you're a big brand and small brand, big pockets, low budget, it doesn't matter. Connection doesn't come from scaling, it comes from care. You just have to care, genuinely care, and that will make a huge difference. Thank you very much. That's my gift for you. It's an ebook about personal branding. Thank you very much.